So for today's which word of the day, I am choosing gothic adjective. And gothic describes something that is characterized by mystery, horror, and gloom, especially in literature. And Gothic literature combines the genres of romance and horror, like Edgar Allan Poe or Mary Shelley. Nowadays, though, if you refer to someone as goth, you are saying they are they're pale and they have black fingernail polish and stuff, and they have Victorian fashion. But it also can describe something as barbaric or rude and unenlightened, as if from medieval times. And it comes from the word Goths, a Germanic people who invaded the Roman Empire. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Wow.
I consider Charmed Season 1 to be the most gothic of the Charmed seasons, so...
It is pretty dark.
Yeah. Much
Yeah.
more serious tone.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Can you hear the words of the witches? Yeah, the words of the witches.
Welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published lore of the Charmed universe.
In this night and in this hour, we call upon our fanboy power, bringing education and stupefaction to all of you.
Together, we will use our knowledge and reverence abundantly, but also find ourselves sassy and delightful.
Which is why we will truly be charmed.
Okay, spell wearers. Welcome to Words of the Witches, episode 127. I am Kevin, your resident Charmed resource.
And I'm Sean, and I just love the supernatural.
And OMG, we have a guest with us today. It's Ralph. Tell us about yourself.
Blessed be. Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Ralph. I am a fellow podcast host as well. Host of the Scream Society podcast, which I call a variety podcast from hell, covering everything from paranormal, true crime, horror films, what's going on in the world. And I just run my mouth for 30 to 40 minutes every week. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here. Long time coming.
Yeah, we've been talking for a while. I'm super excited. We have some mutual friends. We had Clark on a little while ago, and yeah.
Super
So,
excited.
yeah, your podcast is really fun. I figured you'd be good for this season since it is the more gothic-y, more horror-y-ish season.
Spooky. Yeah.
Spooky. How did you discover Charmed?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm not to take up too much time, but so I had like a little bit of a rough childhood. Who didn't? But anyway, so I moved in with my mom when I was like 8 years old. Things were kind of rocky there. I was really close with my dad and my grandma, who I was living with them prior. Anyway, I was just like really like isolated and didn't really feel like loved in my mom's household. So anyway, I would watch TV really late, and it just so happened that this one night that I turned on the WB, I think it was like a Wednesday, and
Yeah,
it
season
was
1, Wednesday.
yeah. But I caught season two. That
Oh,
was my first
interesting.
watch. Yeah. It was like at midnight too. Like I should not have been up watching TV. But anyway, A Painted World was on where they get stuck in the painting. And I don't know, there was just something about it. I had never seen anything like it. I was immediately drawn to Piper, who I say she's her and Prue. Prue raised me to have this like really strong pride, and Piper, she gave me my sarcasm that I still take and use in like now. But anyway, I was watching and I was like, holy crap, like this is so good. These women are so cool. Um and it was really cool to see like the whole like magic aspect too, like getting stuck in the painting, and Phoebe fighting and all of that. So I was like I was hooked since. But I think when it came on TNT is when I started to like really go back and like watch season one and the rest of the series.
That's so cool. And
Yeah.
we were just talking about how no matter where you start, there's a magic to it that makes you want to know more. And it's I love it.
Ah,
The Painter
Yeah.
World.
Yeah.
Cool. So we will talk about a new book starting this episode, but before we do that, we had a poll last week, Sean. Do you remember what it was?
Ah, crap. Of course I don't, Kevin. You know me.
My poll was, how old were you when you started watching Charmed?
Oh, yeah.
Because about the viewers. It was interesting, because we had one person who was 50 or older. Um, then there was 18 votes for 21 through 49, which is your category.
That's me.
Yeah. 109 people started watching 10 or under.
Me.
Me.
That's me. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 10 at the time. And then 118 people started watching between 11 and 20. So 48%. The most people were in that category.
Wow.
Isn't that fun?
The more you
Um,
know.
yeah. But when I was doing my post for this, I decided to do another poll. I did a bonus poll, everybody.
Just love
Uh,
polls.
I know, so such big polls.
Who doesn't love a poll? Yeah.
So I had people vote for their favorite seer or,
Oh,
person who could see the
yes.
future. Yeah, so we had the Oracle from season 4, we had the Debbie Morgan seer, we had the Crone, and we had Charisma Carpenter Kira. Um, how do you think this went down, Sean?
I think people say Kira. Duh.
What would your vote be, Ralph?
I participated in this poll, and unpopular opinion, I voted for Charisma Carpenter's version of the seer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not vote because I'm like I'm not voting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know who I'd pick. I'd probably pick Kira too. Kira's my favorite.
Yeah.
Um and the Oracle got the least amount of votes, 13 votes. I was actually surprised anybody voted for her, but she
Her
has
part
she
was
has
so
her fans.
short. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's great. She is great, but compared to the rest of these, no.
Yeah.
Then the Crone had 20 votes. I personally do love the Crone a lot too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish she was on longer as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then Charisma Carpenter got 58 votes, 26%, but the Debbie Morgan seer
Debbie
won
Morgan.
by a
Yeah.
lot. She got
Of
59%,
course.
131 votes. Yeah.
I mean, she had
Big
the most
save.
screen time. Yeah. She
Yeah.
had the most screen time. Although she did piss me off, but yeah, she played it well.
Someone who wrote in. So I was like, every time she says the source, it sounds like she's saying the sauce. The sauce.
The sauce. It
The
really
sauce
does.
will
Oh my
not stand
gosh.
it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I will not unhear that now.
Right.
I just started season 4 too. So
Okay.
I'm gonna hear
We look
that
forward
now.
to that. Yeah.
Yes.
And guess what, Sean? Remember when we were doing the You Look Familiars back when we were covering the comics?
Yes.
Someone wrote in and they found one that I missed. So we have a retroactive You Look Familiar.
It's funny, she's so familiar to me, though. Reminds me of this old stray that used to hang outside my loft. Familiars, that's what I'm looking for.
Have we met before? You look familiar.
My perfect sky is torn. I can't believe you missed something.
Well, I mean, I knew there was gonna be some that because there's some that I knew were from look familiar, but I didn't know where. And so after all these episodes later, we had someone notice one. So Joey Kavanaugh sent in a picture of Paige in Malice in Wonderland season 8, episode 2, where she's like, put your hands like what? And it's they use that as a drawing for Unnatural Resources in season 9, episode 5, so the fifth issue of season 9.
Nice.
So we got a new You Look Familiar. How exciting!
Yeah.
But we wasted enough time. Silence. Let's get on with this book. um, Now, this book is called Triquetra, The Unofficial and Unauthorized Guide to Charmed, written by Keith Topping. Keith is topping me softly with his words.
Oh my gosh. I love
Um,
this.
yeah, welcome to the show.
We're gonna have a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, when you
Go
pulled
ahead.
it out, I didn't realize how thick it is. The book. The book. I didn't realize how
Oh.
thick it is because I have it in digital form.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, this was printed several times, and there's different publishings. So it's printed in 2005 by Telos Publishing, released January 2006, and that one was 360 pages. But then they had a reissue this is pretty much the same, but they had a reissue that was 536 pages in
Oh, wow.
2013, September 30th, and it's exactly the same, but the print is bigger, and so it makes the page have more pages. Um, so, but it was a head scratcher for a while. I'm like, how many pages is this? So, but I have both versions.
Of
Nice.
course.
Yeah. So the cover is just it's kind of orangey, kind of citrine with a Triquetra on the cover in gray. And the back says television can be a storehouse of treasures, and one of its best kept secrets is a show called Charmed. Despite being scheduled at all hours, the series has built up a dedicated and vocal audience who have become hooked by its beguiling and seductive power, attractive visuals, and gentle wit. Charmed is the story of the four Halliwell sisters, Prue, Piper, Phoebe, and Paige. Together they are the charmed ones, and they are sworn to protect the innocent. In Triquetra, best-selling author Keith Topping, be softly with his song, explores every episode from the untransmitted pilot to the end of season 7, revealing the triumphs, the goofs, the intake of nicotine and alcohol, and generally gets under the skin of the Halliwell sisters and their lives, loves, and spellbinding adventures. Um, so this was an odd book because reading it, I'm like, there's not a lot that we can really cover in this. um, there's things that just don't make sense to talk about. It's a good resource for things, I think, for certain things, but there's not much. So I figured um I took some notes, Sean took some notes. I figured we'll just go over our notes and then just talk about season 1 in general as the notes dictate our chat, our conversation.
Sounds good to me.
I will be honest, I did not take notes, but I have memories.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I barely took notes because there wasn't really a lot to chew on,
Yeah.
really. So I'll just go over what I have and then we can just like, you know, discuss as things happen. Uh so we're talking about season 1 today. We're only doing the season 1 section of this book. And there was a little introduction, and he says that the show was hidden away on minority channels. I'm like, minority channels? The WB was major.
You know what I took from that? Because I scratched my head at first too. I think he
Yeah.
meant like besides the WB, like in other
Yeah.
countries. Because he said
Okay.
something like that later. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
was like, WB is major.
yeah, and he is a UK author, so maybe he's talking about in
Yeah.
the UK. They were on Living TV. I'm not sure how major of a network that was in the UK, but maybe that's what it
Mhm.
was.
Although back in the day, I do feel like the WB was kind of like the underdog. Because I mean, you had like ABC, NBC, like those like big networks, and like the
Maybe.
WB was just kind of like, the like
Maybe it was
teen,
just for our generation because we were
yeah,
the perfect demographic for the WB. We're like, that's all we watch. That's like better than
yeah.
everything.
No, yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
That's true. Because I feel like the WB was still kind of new for us, but like Buffy and Charmed like built it to what it is. So
Yeah.
that was why it was so big for us.
And there were so many shows. A lot of them I didn't watch, but because I knew of the WB reputation, I knew of these shows like Dawson's Creek and
Mhm.
Smallville started on there, I think, before it became the CW. And um, yeah, oh, lots of shows. Henry was Ivan Sergey was on another WB show
Oh, that's
before he got on Charmed.
right.
Yeah.
Was it
Uh,
Felicity? I don't
he
remember.
might have been a guest star, but then he had his own show. We had like another woman co-star. I forget what it was called.
Oh,
But I saw him in the WB promos. Like, what is Henry doing there so
yeah,
early?
yeah.
But he said he cruelly described Charmed as Buffy Light for those who can't afford a real imagination. But
Ouch.
then he's like, "But I made a mistake. I'm sorry."
Buffy Light.
Buffy Lights. So pretty much he goes over every episode of the series through season 7. We're doing season 1. He gave a description of kind of the categories he breaks down in each episode. So these are it's witchcraft where he talks about Charm's magic. And the thing, like, that's another stupid one because it's like, okay, we've seen the episode. You don't need to tell us what was in there. The conspiracy starts at the
Duh.
witching hour. I know. He's talking about whenever there's like secret sea shenanigans, like some shady stuff happening. And he's like, this is those moments. Work is a four-letter word. He lists every time someone goes to work or has to work to do. References where they reference other things in the show. You may remember me behind the scenes, behind the camera. We talked about people who guest starred, what other things they might have been in. He talked about whenever they smoke or drink or would do drugs in the show. Probably the most interesting of these categories is logic. Let me introduce you to this window where he talks about things that don't make sense. He has some quotes in here, continuity stuff. So he just kind of has little notes, his own little notes on the episodes. He talked about how girl power phenomena of the female music, pop music, is what started the show, the TV shows, which is interesting. So girl music inspired Xena and Buffy. What do you think about that?
Spice Girls? Like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, like Spice Girls, like
Like
all
girl
of the girl groups of the
power.
time. Yeah.
But he said something weird. I just found it. He said, riding on the back of an enormous success of a variety of different female pop acts, marketers began to see the potential for television shows rather than simply featuring strong female characters, also emphasize such women's empowerment in an ostensibly male world. So he kind of like, I don't know, he kind of, in my opinion, took it down a little bit and said it was a marketing tool. I'm like, I think it was more of a
Yeah.
movement, like a liberation
Hmm.
of
Right.
female power.
Exactly.
Uh,
I
yeah,
feel like he is the typical straight man in
yeah,
this, and
Downplaying.
it does bother me a bit.
Yeah.
Because much like we saw in our last book with the horny female romance authors, this guy is like a horny male writer.
yep.
He's going, I was like, oh, check out their short skirts. Oh, the form-fitting. Oh, her boobies. Oh, like,
Mm. Gross.
yeah, I know.
Oh,
So,
here's what he said, was being rather cynically used as a specific marketing tool in and of itself. So yeah, he saw it as a cynical marketing tool.
mm, mm,
I don't know
mm.
if I want Keith
I don't
topping
agree with
me.
that. I
Right.
know.
Yeah. Maybe we should top him and sh teach him a lesson. That's what
There
it
you
is.
go. There you go.
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Constance went to the WB and was actually going to pitch a different show entirely. And but then the WB requested a companion piece to Buffy and suggested witches. So it was the WB's idea to do witches, and then
Oh
Constance is
wow.
like, "Oh, I best come up with a show then."
Oh wow.
So
Never
that's
knew
a kind of a
that.
cool tidbit. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Cool.
found that interesting because I feel like so many actual Wiccans are like the first season was actually like good at representing Wicca, and then we
Yeah.
find out she had no idea what she was doing. She's just a good researcher.
Yeah. And the show was originally going to take place in Boston.
I can't see that.
I know.
Like I'm trying
It,
to like picture that setting, but I don't think I could.
yeah.
But somewhere in the multiverse right now, Kevin said it was supposed to take place in San Francisco, but we know it took place in Boston, and you're like, I can't see that. San Francisco doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
Parallel universe,
The
yes.
multiverse, you're right. So, too fun. And then before we got into the episodes, he just said, "Here's all people that work on Charmed. There's their bios. Surprise, surprise." He tried to give them all fancy like titles. I'm like, no, this is too much.
Yeah.
This book isn't like a bestseller, is it?
No, no. I'm
Okay.
just the crazy person who buys every Charmed book, and it's perfect because
Well, yeah,
I'm covering
that's
every Charmed book in this podcast, so it was
yeah,
meant to be.
yeah.
What are your overall thoughts about season one, Ralph?
Season one. Oh, wow. When I was a lot younger, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like it. That was my least favorite season.
Oh wow.
Yeah, back in the day, my season was season three. However, as I've matured and grown up, I've grown to really appreciate season one because it just has like a different dynamic and different tone. I feel like the girls maybe towards the end of season one, I feel like their bond seems a little stronger. Um, but yeah, I really love season one now. Especially when Prue starts using her powers with her hand and all of that. But yeah, I think that show really established what the show is and was like going to be like what it is today, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. And Sean, I know it's been a while. What were your initial thoughts when you started watching Charmed on the when you're podcasting?
Um, I remember liking season one. I think I didn't really start loving the show until like season two, because season one does take a lot of time, like any show, to really Make sure
Mhm.
you know who the sisters are. It's a little more grounded, so like their adventures aren't as crazy yet. And so, yeah, I remember like this is pleasant, but I definitely like came more on board during later seasons.
Okay. Yeah, this was them discovering the powers and working out the kinks and making those initial mistakes and um
Mhm.
but I do really love the mood of season one. I love like just even the way it's shot. It does feel very dark and very gritty and that's always kind of cool. Um
Yeah.
the mood, the uncertainty. That's what I
Oh, I
always
don't
liked
know
about the
what it
trailer
is.
too. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh my God, that trailer was so good.
Yeah.
No, like I still can't bring myself to sit through the It's Javna episode. I don't know why.
Jamna!
I can't like take that episode serious. I don't know. That one and thank you for not morphing. Like, oh, I every time I do rewatches, I like dread those two episodes.
And the thing is, there are several a lot of episodes like that where it gets like super camp in
Hmm.
between like this darkness, which is so I see I love camp. That's why I love Scream 3 so
No,
much. I was
yeah,
going on
yeah.
about
Yes.
Scream 3 gets a lot of hate, but I freaking love Scream 3. It just cracks me up.
I love Scream
So
3. Yeah.
good, good.
Yeah.
Parker Posey in there.
Oh my
She's
gosh,
hysterical.
yes. Her mannerisms, the stuff she says, everything. Yes. You're obsessed with her and you're obsessed with her daughter. Like
Daughter.
I love it so much. Yes.
Oh, I'm at home. I love this.
Yeah.
Deep down, Ralph, you hate the Javna episode because deep down you're like, his name sounds like a Pokemon. So all I can think of is him going, Javna, Javna.
Exactly, exactly.
So my notes here, I said that in The Witch is Back, that's the first allusion to the source. Rex and Hannah allude to the source that they have a higher power, which I think is interesting because
Mhm.
it's way back in, you know, episode 9. I love that he said the Elton John song "The Bitch Is Back" because our last, the Book of Three is like it's an Elton John song. We're not gonna say the name, like, so it's nice that he actually said it. But the most notable stuff about here was the logic. Let me introduce you to this window, and these were like weird continuity things that didn't really make sense. Like in the first episode, Jeremy ran to the manor. He's like, "I'll get you, you bitch! Run, run,
Oh
run! I'm all sweaty."
yeah.
But as a warlock, he should have been able to blink.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. Oh wow.
So that was a good one to note. Um, in Dead Man Dating, Prue and Phoebe are like in their room, like we're, talking about how they're gonna save Piper, but then they walk down the stairs, and they're in different clothes.
Oh yeah.
That's fun. In Sean's favorite episode, The Wedding from Hell.
Ah, it truly
um,
is the episode from hell.
You're not
it's
a fan?
No. So,
No.
that's the camp
so
one for
bad.
me too. Another one that's just fun.
I actually love that one a lot.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
"Give me my pill."
Yeah. Yes. The drama, the acting, all of it.
Yeah. But that was actually the second episode shot. That was supposed to be the second episode. And that's why Piper had to sub for Chef Moore, and that whole Jeremy baby thing was
Mhm.
such an issue, because it was supposed to be like right after, and they moved it
Yeah.
back. In The Witch is Back, Melinda says that she didn't use her magic to escape because it would put her daughter in danger. But that begs the question, like, why didn't she just escape with her daughter?
Yeah. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. If she took her with her, then that would have been fine. Okay.
Yeah, true.
Um, in Wicked Envy, when they show you the real Rex Buckland that our Rex Buckland killed, they show his birth date, and it's the birth date would put him as 24 years old, but the picture is a much older man.
Yeah. That
So
never
that's
made
kind of
sense to
fun.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in Love Hurts, Leo tells the sisters not touch the arrow because it's poison, but it should only be lethal to white lighters. They would have been able to touch it just fine.
Yeah. Didn't Piper touch it too in season 4
Yeah.
when she pulled it out of
She's like,
him?
Paige. She's like, Paige, get out of here.
Yeah.
But I can touch it. So
Yeah. There's also another one, unless I mean you could just sub it as like Piper putting her hair up, but I think it's which Prue is it anyway? When they're running upstairs, Piper's hair's down, and then when she gets into the attic, her hair's like in a perfect ponytail. I'm not sure
yeah,
if
there's a
that's like
lot.
a
There's a lot of
so
things like
many.
that. Yeah, I didn't list everything because there's so many things like that.
Yeah.
Clothes changing, purses, things, water glasses being full, fallen like that's bound to happen in any kind
Oh
of
yeah.
media, but it's still funny stuff.
Yeah. It's
Um,
cool to spot those.
yeah, he quoted things wrong in Something Wicked This Way Comes, in The Wedding from Hell, and in Is There a Woogie in the House? There's just things that are not quite or paraphrased. So,
Hmm.
I do like that he made note of the soundtrack, the songs that played in each episode, because that is such a great resource, especially for those who only watch it on streaming.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The music is
Um,
atrocious.
yeah, right. So now if you don't know how amazing the songs can be, you can look these songs up and listen to them. So yeah, because again, the DVDs, I like having the OG songs.
Yeah. And the Blu-rays too, I believe.
Blu-rays
Yeah.
too, yes.
Yes. Thank goodness.
I've actually been putting together my own collection of all the songs used in the show, and I'm hoping to do like a bonus episode just talking about them all.
Oh, cool.
So that will be on the agenda. So, I think I just have a few other like just canonical things that I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Canonical.
Keith Topping was convinced that Aviva was evil, and he kept wondering why Aviva didn't freeze or why Kit didn't hiss at her. But she was never evil; she was just being
She wasn't
used, and
evil.
that's the
Yeah.
difference. Yeah,
Yes. Great episode too.
yeah, such a good episode.
Yeah.
Aviva.
Hello, Aviva. Yes.
Keith Topping wondered why Melinda didn't use her powers on Matthew Tate. They said that in the episode that she came to the future with all of her powers that she could be
Mm,
used. He's like, why didn't she use them on Matthew? I'm like, hello. If you remember, he was copying their powers, and he also became immune to the powers he already copied.
mhm.
So that's why she didn't attack you.
Did he watch the show or he just wrote the book? Because
He rushed. No, yeah. I'm like,
I
you missed
mean,
something there.
yeah, gotta pay attention, my guy.
Yeah. The author says that Victor already left before Phoebe was born, and that's why he's like, wait, how is she? What? This doesn't make sense. But they only separated before Phoebe was born. Once he found out that Patty was pregnant again, he came back to try to work it out. So there was a double leave thing happening.
Oh.
He put when bad warlocks turn good when it should be when bad warlocks go good, and it's another book where it says blindsided when it should be out of sight. Those two episodes are the real names. So yeah, any final thoughts about this book, Sean, so far?
It's good. Like it's very thorough. He gives a lot of tea on the actors. Like he even talks about how Alyssa was allegedly like dating Brian, which we now know is true. So like it's thorough, but I don't know if you're a fan, I don't know if this is needed for your collection. I don't know if
I mean,
anybody needs two of them.
yeah, I have two of them. I mean, I think there are some great things here in the book. It's just it's not easy to make a podcast about. So we're gonna be
Yeah.
flying through this book pretty quick, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think his horny man moments were a little cringy.
Yeah.
Um, I do like hearing his like personal take on each episode. He gives a little note about what he thought about the episode, what he liked and disliked. That's kind of cool. Oh, he said the Book of Shadows cost $20,000 to make, so that was a cool note.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I never noticed. I never noted the exact amount, so I'm like, all right, learned something here. Cool.
Yeah. Dang. $20,000.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot.
Which is why they always kept it in a vault.
And Brad Kern has it. Is that what
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, nowhere to be found.
Wow.
The final thing that I have today, we don't. There's no need to do a tip for future white letters. None of this book will need that. Uh, but I do have a P is for poll.
Piper.
You mean it's just you and Prue, huh?
Phoebe? Phoebe, you there?
And a big hello to you too, Penny.
Come on, Patty. The rest is up to them.
Paige. My name is Paige. Another P, imagine that.
P is for poll. So, what is your favorite season one magical artifact? And you can choose the jeweled poignard from The Wedding from Hell. You can do the lantern where their powers were stored in Wicca Envy. You can do Melinda Warren's pewter heart, her little locket, or Nicholas ring of immunity.
Ring.
Yeah, what's your favorite one?
Now, does the lantern have the powers in it or
Sure. Yeah.
okay, I'm going with the lantern.
Cool.
Yes.
Sure.
I
I'll
like it.
go with the lantern too. Why not?
I think, yeah, I think the lantern is my favorite one too. And actually, I have all of these items in my collection. Very perfectly.
Ooh.
All right. So, uh, because there's not much to go over with this episode, I figured we'll bring back a grimoire game.
What is this, some kind of game?
Grimoire Games!
Some people think this is entertainment.
Ah!
Ah!
Woo.
Um, yeah, so it's just a season one trivia quiz that I found on the internet. I did not
Ah,
make this
shit.
quiz. I know. I did not make this quiz. I did not have time. Normally, I would make my own, but
Yeah.
I'm
Some of
not
these
really a
online
fan
ones
of.
are really hard, by the way.
Okay, well, not for
Is this
me
one?
usually, but
I'm
um,
Kevin. I'm a show off. I know everything about charms.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
but I found one that I think is pretty decent, and I'll just ask a question, and you can like buzz in with your answer, and we'll see how it goes. I'm
Okay.
not gonna keep a score or anything, I guess, but I'll just say if you get it right, you get it right.
Okay.
Cool. So there's 10 questions. This is a season one quiz. And the first question is, and I'll give you multiple choice for this one because I don't want you to have to think through the entire season. But in which episode do the sisters temporarily lose their powers? And the options are that 70s episode, From Fear to Eternity, Which Proves It Anyway, or Is There a Wookiee in the House?
Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, which episode do they temporarily lose their powers?
I'm gonna say Buzz, that 70s episode.
Oh
That
yeah,
is cor that is correct because they do not have powers when they're in the
in the
past.
past.
Mhm.
That was a
Yes.
trick question.
A little
I'm
bit, a little
offended. No,
bit.
I'm just kidding.
All right. In The Witch's Bag, Matthew Tate, the warlock, tries to steal the sister's powers. What century does he come from? See, this was hard for me only because I don't
Oh
always know which
gosh.
century is what. I had to look up
Yeah.
what years are which in which one. Uh, I will give you the year. It's because the Book of Shadows was written in 1698. So if you know where century that is, uh,
Mm.
the 21st, the 18th, the 17th, or the 16th.
Um,
Yeah,
Buzz,
this
was it the
one
17th? I'm
it is the
wrong.
17th. No, you're right.
Mhm.
Oh,
It
it
is the
is.
17th
Oh my
century.
gosh. That was a lucky
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, because I have no idea like what dates are what. I really don't. I'm just like I know the year. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell you which century that is. Uh, okay, is there a Wookiee in the house? The Wookiee man, which possesses Phoebe, lives in which part of the house?
The base. Oh,
Buzz,
Buzz, the basement. Sorry. I
what he said.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm flooding my basement.
Oh, stop
Oh
it.
my
Jeez.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
All right. When bad warlocks go good, not turn good like this quiz says it is, um, what is the name of the good warlock Prue falls in love with?
I forgot. Oh my gosh.
Buzz, is it Brandon?
Close.
Damn it.
Brendan. Brendan with the
Oh,
E.
Brendan.
Oh,
I just seen the
Brendan
episode.
Rowe. And his brothers are Greg and Paul because I'm overachiever. All right. In which episode does the Book of Shadows get wiped away temporarily? So like no spells, like nothing in it. The Witch's Back, Wicca Envy, Feats of Clay, or From Fear to Eternity.
Buzz, is it Wicca Envy?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
oh.
Because that's the same episode with the lantern where they lose their powers, and once they
Yeah.
lose their powers, the Book of Shadows gets erased. And Leo, for some reason, miraculously heals it
Oh,
because
I
that's his
know.
power
Which we've
set.
Why
never
not?
seen again. It never happens again.
Yeah. Oh, I heal you the book and you get your powers back. Surprise! Um, which proves it anyway? The color of which part of the wardrobe allows what? Okay, the color of which part of the wardrobe allows to distinguish between. This was written terribly. Pretty much, what do the clones and Prue wear? What color differentiation do they have? Skirt, sweater,
Buzz.
t-shirt, or pants?
Oh. Oh, it's a sweater. Buzz, a
Yeah.
sweater. And the, the
Yeah.
the pink one is for I don't know how to describe her, but she's like the cutesy, like innocent one. Black sweater is like the real Prue, and the blue is the like flirty, like sexy one. They're all,
Yeah.
all sexy, but you know what I mean.
Yes. And actually, to go further on that,
Uh-oh.
um, yeah, real Prue, Black Prue would be the super ego, right? That's your main, your overall
Yes.
priority. The blue sort of Prue would be her id, her inner desire, which is the same Prue that comes out in Just Harried with her astral Prue. It's
Oh
blue sort of Prue
yes.
reemerging. And then pink sort of Prue would be the ego, the one who's peppy and perky and loves to show off and be the,
Yeah.
loves her job. So yeah,
That's what I meant to say. No,
yeah.
I'm
And they don't really address that much in the episode. That's just,
yeah.
analytical, but it's totally true.
Yeah. No, yeah. That makes sense.
Uh, all right, Feats of Clay. I don't like that episode. The only way to conquer the Guardian of the Urn is through what?
The Buzz, the urn.
Yeah, the
Wait.
Guardian of the Urn with Feats of Clay, with that white Egyptian lady.
Oh yeah, Buzz. Oh my God. Isn't it Buzz? Isn't it just to like steal the urn away from?
You have to perform a selfless act.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it wrong.
Phoebe, I'm gonna save you from the snake so I get to live.
Oh, that's right. That's
Ooh,
right.
that cobra. Ooh.
Yeah,
Um, Funny enough, you can also get rid of the seven deadly sins by performing a selfless act.
that is correct. Yes.
So, there you go. Uh, from Fear to Eternity, the Demon of Fear appears on Friday the 13th once in how many years?
Buzz, is it 1,000 years?
No, but I'll give you the options.
Damn.
There's 1300, 1500, 1800, or 2000.
Buzz, is it? I'm just guessing. Is it 13,000?
1300, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Friday the 13th, every 1300 years has to carry 13 unmarried. 13, it's the 13 number. So
Yeah.
every 1300 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
13 unmarried witches. I know. Oh,
So
Bobbis.
clever.
Ralph, you mentioned this. Prue can channel her power through her hands and her eyes. True or false?
Uh, Buzz, true.
Yes. And the last question of this quiz that I did not make, who is the first sister to make a contribution into the Book of Shadows? Piper, Phoebe, Prue, or they never made a contribution into the book. Qua? How crazy!
Isn't it
Um,
Phoebe?
It's Phoebe. Yeah, it's they.
Buzz, Phoebe.
the 70s episode, correct?
No, it's actually is there a Wiggy in the
Oh,
house?
that's right. Duh.
Add the Wiggy Man spell in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I swear
Um,
I'm a fan. I promise.
no, I believe. No, you did very
I'm
well. I
kidding.
was very happy.
I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
So yeah, that was a fun little way to end our little non-book episode.
Maybe fun for you.
It was fun for me. I get to like elaborate. All right, so thanks for joining us. I feel like I want to talk to you, Ralph, more, but I don't know what to say.
What's your favorite scary movie?
That's
I'm
my
kidding.
favorite scary movie. Oh my God. I mean, we were on the Scream kick. I do love the Scream franchise. I'm not a big horror movie fan.
Yeah.
Like a horror. I'm not a horror crazy connoisseur, but I love Scream. I think because it is essentially like a glorified murder mystery. They take the slasher genre and make it a murder mystery.
Yeah.
And I do think that the movies really care about their characters.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the genres that's why one of the franchises I really love.
Awesome. What about you,
Yeah.
Sean?
I'd say I have three favorites and I like them for different reasons because they all scare the shit out of me in different ways. I'd say for a classic horror film, I love Candyman. I also love The Strangers just because too real.
Oh
And
yeah.
I love Paranormal Activity 2. The second one's the bestest one.
It
Only
was way
oh
better.
yeah,
Yes. Agreed.
yeah. I do like the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys couldn't tell, like mine is obviously Scream, the Scream franchise, as I have this person behind me. Yeah.
I know I keep wanting to warn you, like, watch out, but he hasn't
Yeah.
moved yet, so we're good.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Scream character?
My favorite Scream character would probably have to be, I would say Gail, just because she's so nosy and just unapologetic, and I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of like that. I just love
Yeah.
all the like smart ass like characters. Like that's why I love Piper so much. And yeah, like I'm just always drawn
Well,
to those characters.
it's so funny because I'm watching the Scream franchise all over again, like
Yeah.
because I'm showing it to my friend Aaron who's never seen them before, so we're
Oh,
going in
that's always
order.
fun. Yes.
Yeah, we're watching the first one, and I'm like, this feels so much like Charmed.
Yeah, yeah. In a
I'm
way,
like,
yeah.
Nev is Piper, Gail is Prue. We have Rose, we have Tatum as Rose already as Paige. So
Yeah.
like, um, and so
Exactly.
I'm like, oh my gosh, and that's it's I guess the year it came out, '96. You know, it's very much that time. I'm like, I feel so charmed. Of course, Scream
Yeah.
3 feels very much like season 3 to me too. So I guess it's they're all in that time.
Yeah. I even think Phoebe gets those Scream 3 bangs, and but that's not till season 4, right? Like the pixie, the what is
Oh,
it
Gail
called?
Weathers
What,
bangs.
yes, the Gale Weathers bangs.
Ugh, what were you doing, Courtney Cox?
What was she thinking?
Yes, Gail Weathers will find a way.
Yes.
So yeah, tying it back to Charmed, I love it. So thank you for that rabbit hole.
Yes. That's what I'm here
Uh,
for.
so
Candid.
Ralph, tell the people where they can find you and hear all of your podcast scream scary horror vibes.
Yeah, well, I'm available on pretty much every podcast platform. Also on YouTube. Not fully visual just yet. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Scream Society Podcast. If you want to follow my personal journey, that is at Ralph Anthony with three Y's. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for
Cool.
having me.
Of course, thank you. This was good. It was fun, amazing. Love it. Love having you here.
Yes. Thank you.
Sean, where can we find you?
You can find me on Sean Perret on Instagram or TikTok. You can also find me today. We're back with Solving for X, Deadpool and Wolverine. Kevin and I break it down, all the cameos, the silliness, the craziness. And you can find us on YouTube-ish. We have some videos. We could probably work up a better library, but we're getting there.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah, we love solving for X and other podcasts because we just can't get enough of the podcasting, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, you can follow this podcast at Words of the Witches on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Words of Witches on the Twitter place. And you can follow my personal Instagram at KJEEZY87. So, Spellworders, we'll talk about this book some more, I guess. Next week of season 2. We'll see. We'll see what we find to talk about. I don't know. All right. Thanks for listening. Your destiny still awaits.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. How do I stop
Oh my
this? How
gosh.
do I stop this?
You don't. You record forever.
Record forever.
Or for 40 minutes.
Oh my
Oh, there it is.
gosh.
Stop.